I'm Kevin, and I'm joined by my co-host with Harrison Bader like hair.
Yeah, it's a weird ordeal. Katie is just proving to be childish.
Which is why I don't feel I would give $5 million to Jack Campbell.
I don't know. Baseball is one of those sports where anyone who makes the playoffs really can be a contender.
I think the Padres definitely do it.
I don't think Donovan Mitchell gets traded.
Kyrie Irving does have the track record of not being a great locker room fit, or even good locker room fit.
Bader got some luscious locks. I gotta say it.
This is Zach Bigley, the broadcaster for the Frisco Rough Riders, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin. You guys better subscribe.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NFL Opinions of the Week. This is going off a topic that I have mentioned my AFC team, and we got some different perspectives while Austin was out on the just day-to-day. And now Austin has his own opinions, and he is back, of course, and the man I'm talking about is Austin.
It was kind of like a 10-day IR, a 10-day injured list. I don't really know, but Kevin held his own, and I'm gracious for that. But yeah, I heard this is something you guys talked about. I still have yet to watch the episode, so I don't know what the other people that you had on decided was theirs. But I'm excited to hear what you have to say, and we can start whatever conference you want to start with.
Yeah, I think we'll go into the AFC because this one was easy to me. Once you said let's do both, I was like, the NFC, I went through it. NFC, there's a clear number one for me. Then I'm like, who are 2 through 5? But AFC is pretty clear cut to me. So yeah, it's kind of good that you didn't listen because I can just go through my AFC. I'll do that one right now. 1 is Chiefs. 2 is Steelers. 3 is Ravens. 4 is Bills. 5 is Chargers.
Okay, so we have the same 5 teams. I'll give you that much. But we do have them in a different order. I went Chiefs, Bills, Chargers, Steelers, Ravens.
Okay, so you have Bills at 2.
I have Bills at 2, yes.
Okay. We're in agreement on Chiefs at 1, which I wasn't expecting to differ on. I am surprised.
Can I ask a quick question so I don't have to check it before? Did anyone disagree with Chiefs at 1?
Yes.
Okay.
And you can probably figure out who disagreed with Chiefs.
I don't think it would have been the Chiefs fans. So, yeah I think I understand who.
Mm-hmm. For the people listening, Cam and I disagreed widely. Blaze and I had same 5 teams, same order. Cam
same order.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I don't think I agree with the order. I think the Bills are easily the second best team, and it's really based around the fact that they have Amari Cooper now, and I think Amari Cooper's that good. Whenever he's on the field, and you got to think they've been without Keon Coleman and without Dalton Kincaid, 2 really good offensive guys, and they did that against the best defense in the league against the Chiefs. A couple weeks ago, or last week. So the fact that they did that down to their best offensive options, they have a top 5 O-line. Josh Allen is playing very well. Their defense is good. I definitely think they're there. I think that they're close to contender to the Chiefs right now because they haven't been fully healthy and it doesn't matter. Their offense is still performing. And I think Amari Cooper is that difference maker.
Yeah, and I will say Amari Cooper is a huge difference maker because we talked about just the Bills didn't do enough to fix the absence of Stephon Diggs. You can disagree. You can agree that Stephon Diggs was a problem and it wasn't working anymore. The problem to me is they didn't fix that issue of that number 1 wide receiver till they got Amari Cooper. And I do think the thing that's helping Josh Allen is James Cook as well. They have a legit running game that can help him get involved. So I think my reason for the Steelers at 2 is because of coaching.
Even after what happened this week.
Even what happened this week. That's why I'm like, I'm still going to put some faith in them.
My problem with the Steelers is that they have a tendency to lose to bad teams. I mean, if you look at their losses, it's just not good losses. They're losses that you're like, a team could exploit that. I'm trying to think of their losses, but I know it's Cowboys. I know it's
Cowboys, Browns. I'm trying to remember one. I think it might be Panthers.
There's no way it's Panthers. I guess it could be Panthers.
Because it's a bad team.
It is a bad
It's
team. I know that much, but I don't think it's. Is it There's some ways Panthers. I guess it could be. I could be wrong.
Colts. It's the Colts. It's not the
It's
Panthers.
Colts. Yeah, I didn't think they played the Panthers.
Yeah.
They haven't played the Panthers, but yeah, it was the Colts, and that's with AR. So that's just another bad loss. So they have bad losses. The Bills don't really have that. The Steelers and Ravens are really much in the same boat for me. And when they played each other, it was extremely close, 18-16. I do end up having the Ravens below the Steelers, but Steelers 4-5. I feel like those teams are kind of tied. Like you could put them either way, and I'd be like, yeah, that's about right. I do think the Chargers are a little bit ahead. This Chargers defense is playing well without Khalil Mack with some injuries, and if they get those guys healthy, their defense is extremely, extremely good. And Justin Herbert is elite. And truly, truly a special, special thrower of the football. And that offense is moving with him at the helm.
Yeah, the Chargers are a team where coaching as well. I will go back to one more thing on the Steelers. The Steelers, so those two losses, the Colts and Cowboys are actually back-to-back losses. And this was the first loss for the Steelers with Russell Wilson at quarterback. Those two losses before it was Justin Fields. I think their offense has found the groove, but I'm gonna give deference to Mike Tomlin because he made that decision with Justin Fields, and he received flack for it. It seems to be paying off. To me, he's a guy I trust in the playoffs, and especially this defense. They're a team that can really wreck with the Chiefs because they're still number one. Now, I find it. I like how you talked about. I believe it's your 3 and 4. The Steelers and Ravens.
That's 4 and 5. I have the Chargers at 3.
Okay.
So I went Chiefs, Bills, Chargers, Steelers, Ravens. I just don't see the Chargers. The Chargers have some games where like they should have won that by more, but they don't have games that they lost like that. You know what I mean? That's really where I draw the line. Like the Ravens have games, Raiders, where I'm like, how do you lose that game? How do you lose that game? The same thing with the Steelers. There's games where I'm like, I don't know how you lose that game. The Chargers don't really have that. They have games where you're like, well, they should have won that game by more. Well, but they still won the game. Right? And I think that's really the difference. Harbaugh has really taught them to be able to win the games that they should win. Their losses, the Chargers' losses, they lost to the Cardinals, who are still tied for their division lead. They lost to the Chiefs, and they lost to the Steelers. So the Steelers, good team. Chiefs, good team. Cardinals, good team. Cardinals are 6 and 5, but if all the teams they've lost to are above 500, they haven't lost to any bad teams. And even when they lose to the Cardinals, they lose by 2 points. So they lose to the Chiefs, they lose by 7 points. So they're keeping it close, and they have no bad losses on their record. Again, the Cardinals' loss was in Arizona. So and their Steelers' loss was in Pittsburgh. So they've done well, but yeah, they do have some games where it's like, why is this game kind of close? But like the Bengals game, they could have ran away with, but didn't. But they still won the game, and that's really something I can't hold against them. So I think it's really a tier of 1 and 2, a tier of 3, and then a tier for 4 and 5. That's kind of how I have divided up thus far.
Okay. To talk about the Chargers, they're a team that we weren't sure about. Jim Harbaugh. He's a guy. Yes, he is a good X's and O's, but to me, he just has this belief in the Chargers and has created this belief in the Chargers. And to me, that's what makes him dangerous and put them on my 5 because I don't view the Chargers in the same category as the Steelers, Ravens, as Bills.
Why?
I just need to see more from them.
What is more?
I want to see how. I know they already played the Chiefs, but they have a tough schedule. I want to see how they play the Ravens. I want to see the next 3 games. The Ravens.
How do you reconcile the bad, or should I say terrible losses that these other teams have? I mean, losses against Raiders and Browns. Like those are bad losses. Losses you can't really, especially in a tight division race, you can't lose that game. Like for either team, Steelers or Ravens.
To me, what it's kind of the coaching and just the more coaching. They have experience in their team where they have that culture already built.
But they lost. Do they really have the culture? Because the Ravens continue to lose to these teams. I mean, last year they lost to the Colts with Gardner Minshew starting. It's a culture of losing when they against bad teams. The Ravens have yet to go on a true run. I mean, they made it to the AFC Championship game last year, but they lost to the Chiefs. They've yet to go on a Super Bowl run. And yeah, the Chargers haven't either, but the Chargers have a head coach who made it that far. They have guys who are extremely confident. Let's put it this way. Jim Harbaugh is extremely good at instilling confidence in his players. And you can see it. You can see they think they're going to win, and they want to win. There's times where the Ravens, I question how much they want to win, how much they need to win. Because there's games they're like, we'll get it next week. It's fine. And some weeks they really want to win. And that difference between games where they really want to win and games where they don't care all that much, I think is noticeable. And I don't think you necessarily need to see. I need the Ravens to shoot or to prove that they're not what they've always been under Lamar, right? We've seen who they are. The Chargers are still a present under the tree. We don't really know. You said you need to see more, sure. But we see the finished product with the Ravens. Sure, they have Derrick Henry. Sure, they have new players like Deontay Johnson. But they still look like the same thing. That when you shake the package, it sounds the exact same. Right? So I just have to see more from the team that we know what do you like than the teams that are a sort of mystery.
Okay. My follow-up question is you. I'm pretty sure you and I have the same view of the Ravens, but what is the same team as the Ravens?
Poor play calling, a insistence to pass the ball when you should run it. That's really. I mean, if you look at the Chiefs game in the AFC Championship, they should have ran the ball more. That's just a difference in winning the game. It's not because Lamar, people say, oh, Lamar's a running back. No, Lamar's a great passer, but you don't have the receiving weapons to throw the ball every play. And you are supposed to be the greatest running team ever. You have Derrick Henry and you have Lamar. Shoot, you could throw me as an OC and I would just run an option play every time. And I would get yards. It breeds yards because of how their team is built. But sometimes they refuse to do what they're built to do because they think they need to pass. And it's the same thing every year. It's just bad play calling. It's bad mistakes. It's crucial errors. The Chargers have yet to beat themselves in a game. They either get beat or they win. The Ravens are insistent on beating themselves to lose games. And that's a problem. Your only enemy should be the opponent. It should never be yourself. And the Ravens often the problem is themselves. It's the fumble into the end zone by Zay Flowers in the AFC Championship game. It's the pick that Lamar throws. That is the Ravens beating themselves. It's not the Chiefs beating the Ravens. The Chiefs just didn't beat themselves. And when that should never be a goal. Hey, let's just not beat ourselves. Let them beat themselves and we'll win. It should be let's just beat them, right? But that's not always the game plan for how to beat the Ravens. But the Chargers this year, you have to play better than them to win. Because they're not going to beat themselves. They're not going to have that key pick, that key fumble, the key missed field goal, right? If the Ravens, it has been for the last couple of years, they will beat themselves. There will be a moment in the game where they crumble, and that will be the game.
Yeah. Talking about playoffs, that's how I view the Ravens and Bills. That's why they're similar to me, because these are Allen and Jackson are great quarterbacks. They're top tier quarterbacks. The problem with me is I'm not going to have this. The answer to how I view them in the playoffs is going to happen this year. And it's going to be one of you're a playoff joker. I think Lamar has that. Josh Allen has that. And this is going to be a big year for them. The thing that Chargers at 5 is I can expect Steelers, Ravens, and Bills all to win at least one game in the playoffs. I don't think they can go. I don't know if they can go farther than that. I don't feel confident.
The Ravens have had. I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can. I'm not ready to say that yet. If you're losing to the Raiders, I don't know if I can say that you can beat the Broncos. The Broncos almost beat the Chiefs. They should have beat the Chiefs, right? So I don't know if you could just say there's no guarantee the Ravens are playing a home playoff game all playoffs. You told me they can go into one of these go into Houston and win a game?
Yes.
Or Houston has had problems, yes. But C.J. Stroud has been a much better quarterback at home than he has been on the road. He's been a much better quarterback with Nico Collins than without Nico Collins. And if you have Nico Collins and Joe Mixon and C.J. Stroud in Houston and you're playing Baltimore, I'm taking Houston in that game. I'm sorry. I'm not confident that Lamar can come through in that moment when everything is against him. It's not really even Lamar. I'm not confident that the Ravens themselves can overcome themselves.
Okay. Yeah, you and I just disagree, but how you're talking about the Ravens is how I feel with the Chargers. I think instead of saying the next 3 games, I want to see how the Chargers play against the Ravens. And then it's just I'm not confident.
Here's my thing. You are trying to assume what the Chargers will be, right? Because you don't know. But I just say, because we don't know, it could be good or bad. And I know what the Ravens are. And I think the Chargers' potential is significantly higher than the Ravens' potential. And because of the good head coach, because of the MVP caliber quarterback, because of J.K. Dobbins turning back the clock, because of the great defensive play, even without a fully healthy roster, I see that and I'm like, that could be something. And with the Ravens, I'll go back to the Christmas example. I'm shaking the box. I know what this is. I know what this is. I like it. I don't love it. I like it. I know what this is. It's a shirt. I know I'm going to like this shirt because my parents asked me what I want, but I know it's not going to be my favorite present. Now the present, I have no idea what it is, right? It could be horrible. It could be terrible. I don't know what it is, but it also could be amazing. It could be that signed jersey I want, or it could be underwear. I don't know what it is, right? But I'm more of a positive thinker that's something that I really, really, really like, that I love, than it is something that is, oh, this is an undershirt, or oh, this is I don't know, candy, or something that's okay, sure, fine. But I know what the Ravens are. And I've yet to see that it's not going to be that. Right? I know what's in the present. I know what's in the package. My parents think I don't know, but I know. Right? And I'm going to like it. I'm going to enjoy it. But I'm not going to love it. I'm not going to be, this is the favorite present under the tree. But the one you don't know, I'm more of a positive thinker towards that, to where this could be something special. This could be my favorite present. Even though I asked for something that I thought was going to be my favorite present, this one could be, right? That's what I see with the Chargers. They've yet to prove it with this coaching staff, with Herbert, with a great roster, with a star, they have a star running back, in my opinion, J.K. Dobbins. Gus Edwards is now healthy, so they have a secondary back. Their O-line is starting to get healthy. They have a great rookie wide receiver in Ladd McConkey. Their tight end situation has been better. I'm excited with how it looks, and you're right. You don't know how they're going to perform in some of the bigger games because they have a lack of experience, but they also have a lack of experience losing. Right? They don't know. They don't know how to. It's kind of like a kid on their first day of school, right? You don't really know how it's going to go, but it could be awesome. It could be amazing. The guy could love the class, right? He has no experience winning or losing, right? The Ravens aren't in that boat, right? We've seen them lose to Derrick Henry and the Titans. We've seen them lose to the Bills. We've seen them lose to the Chiefs. We've seen them lose games that they just should not lose. And that's something that I need to see them change before I love them as a team.
Got it. Yeah, so to me, we're disagreeing on, I don't know what the floor is for the Chargers. I know what the floor is with the Ravens and Bills, and that's what you're talking about. And I do think if just Lamar Jackson plays like he does in the regular season, that's the potential, and then they can be a better team.
The problem is it's not just Lamar. That's the problem. That's the bigger problem. Lamar could play fine, like good, great even. and lose games because their play calling is poor. If you abandon running the ball with Derrick Henry, you will lose. You will lose. Lamar is not a superhero. Even when he's playing well, he's not a superhero. You need other guys to perform to beat some of the best teams in the league. Every player knows that. No team is going into the game thinking we have Lamar and that is it. We have no one else. That is it. And thinking that they're going to win playoff games. The Ravens have the roster. The problem is I don't trust the coaching staff. Sure, Lamar does play worse in the playoffs. That's statistically true. But even if he plays well, I'm not confident that they can win games in the playoffs.
Okay. I can totally understand that. I can understand what you're saying, and I understand that point, and that's a valid point. I'm just on the other side of, I have that hope. I do think with Derrick Henry, they are going to run the ball, and that just gives them another option. And the Bills...
But they've proven to avoid doing that when they need to run the ball.
But we haven't seen them with Derrick Henry as a weapon.
Yes, we have. We saw that against the Steelers. Do you know how many carries Derrick Henry had in the fourth quarter against the Steelers? That many. 0. None. Zilch. In a 2-point game. You don't want a 2-point conversion? He wasn't on the field. You're telling me he gets no carries in the fourth quarter, and you don't put him on the field for the 2-point conversion. That is exactly what I am talking about. That is, in a big game, need to win for seeding, for division. You have to win this game. Like, you don't have to, but it's a very important game. And you're telling me that Derrick Henry gets no carries in the fourth quarter. If I was the Steelers, or if I was a Ravens fan, I'd be tearing out my hair. Like, you can't tell me that is good football. It's not.
It's not good football, and you bring up a good point with that big game. To me, that's something they can learn from, and they will know to do in the playoffs. I don't see them doing that.
It's just, I don't know, Kevin. Okay, I don't know that. They've proven the opposite. You see, when you don't run the ball with Derrick Henry, you can't win because of Derrick Henry. So you're beating yourself. The Steelers aren't stopping Derrick Henry. You're just not running with him. So it's beating yourself. I'm not confident that they won't do it again.
I'm on the edge of confident that they won't do it again. That's how I view it. But we'll have to see. The other team I want to talk about is the Bills, because I get the Bills' biggest problem to me is Sean McDermott. You're talking about beating yourself. He's a guy where he just makes dumb mistakes. We go to last year where he's to me, he's still coaching for his job because all of the matters on the playoffs to me with him, but they have had a great season so far. And to me, it's just someone where playoff, you have the 13 seconds with the Chiefs. You give credit to Mahomes, but also he's a defensive coach. Last year, to me, it sticks out the 12 men on the field. That cost them a game against the Broncos, who were not doing well under Russell Wilson. That is my thing with the Bills. And Josh Allen is doing what we want him to do. And that is not turn over the ball. And if he can do that in the playoffs, it's great. But that's why the Bills, to me, are lower than the Ravens. But to me, they still have that floor. That's why they're over the Chargers. But my question is Sean McDermott. So you have the Bills at 2. What are your views of McDermott?
I have my concerns, but I think Josh Allen has learned. I think he's learned. And here's where I think that. He's scrambling more than ever. And Josh Allen is one of the best running QBs in NFL history, especially scrambling. Not design runs, scrambling. He's probably the best scrambler ever. He's not just a design run guy. He's I'm going to make something happen, right? And he has more of the speed than like a Mahomes does, who's also very good at scrambling when he needs to. I'm confident that he's learning to use his legs, to use his better abilities to avoid picks when he's just going to throw up a punt almost. So I'm confident Josh Allen's learned, but also I think Amari Cooper really does make this offense that much better. And while Sean McDermott has proven sometimes to not be the best head coach, I think they have enough talent around him to kind of mask those mistakes more than some of the other teams that I have listed below.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about Josh Allen, especially with Amari Cooper and the run game. my problem is with Sean McDermott in those big moments making the right choice, because he made the right choice against the Chiefs with 4th and 2 and going for it and being aggressive. To me, he's just a very finicky coach. He'll make the right moves, but another game he'll make a different move. So that is my concern with the Bills, and that's why they're lower. And just compared to, I don't see Mike Tomlin making that mistake. I don't see Andy Reid making that mistake. But I can see the argument where the talent with the Bills can be better than the coaching of the Ravens with Harbaugh, but that's something we'll just have to see. Now, that is all we have for the AFC. We planned on doing the NFC, but we went a little bit longer. So now that's just going to be another video, but we just spent a lot of time on the AFC, which is good and kind of shows the parity in this league. Let us know your thoughts in the comments and be on the lookout for that NFC video. Thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.